welcome to A Closer Look. This month we are celebrating women in engineering. Here to tell us about some of the rewards and challenges of being a woman in the engineering field is Crystal Bloom, Assistant City Engineer with the Chesapeake Department of Public Works. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
So what sparked your interest in becoming an engineer?
Well, ever since I was a kid, I really liked building things. I actually grew up on a farm out in southern Chesapeake off Ballahack Road. So I think that exposure, getting to fix things and work with my hands, I think really kind of set the tone. I come from a family of engineers, and math just came super easy for me, thankfully. So.
Wow, that's good. It never did for me. So that field was out. So I know engineering is known as a particularly difficult field. Did you have any challenges while going through college?
I think working, so I worked part-time had an internship at a small local engineering firm. So that made it more challenging trying to get through your coursework and work at the same time. But in the end, it definitely was worth it because it gave you that experience. It made you that much more valuable when you did get out of school and graduated. So yeah, that to me was probably the most challenging thing.
So having like family members, like you said, that were in the field, did that help in that regard?
Yeah, that definitely helped. Yeah, they kind of put that bug in my ear to do the internship and had those connections that helped get me there.
So what is it like to be a woman in the engineering field? Do you see things maybe perhaps differently than a male co-worker would, perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not any different than being a man. Myself as a woman, I've never really experienced any setbacks because of that.
Right.
And I honestly don't even really look or think about the gender thing. I just have worked hard and did what I could do. I think women in general, though, and especially so I've got three little boys, 3 kids, and I think that side of it has given me personally more soft skills. So it's made me like a better listener, a better communicator, definitely a better multitasker. So I feel like that as a woman, that those characteristics come out more maybe than a man.
And probably in the time we're living in now, you're going to start to see women in positions that may have been traditionally male-held positions. So fortunately, we're living in a time where you can be anything that you want to be.
Yeah, right. Yep.
And that's
exactly.
great,
No
especially if you said you have sons that can see that in their mom.
Yep.
So, what advice would you give a woman who might be interested in a field, and what kind of practical experience would someone probably need to have?
I think again, just being a hard worker is important. I myself like to lead by example. I don't want to say I put my head down and just do my thing, but I just do the best you can. And sorry, what was your second question?
Well, just what kind of practical skills do you need, and like technical skills should someone maybe pick up to prepare themselves for that career path?
Yeah. Well, I was going to mention the internship thing again. I think that's really, really invaluable because 2 reasons. It gives you an idea while you're in school if that's really the the subject that you want to keep going with with your schooling and for ultimately your career. So it gives you that exposure, and then too on the other side, it just makes you more valuable coming out of school. Kind of gives you a leg up with already having some of that background and experience.
So there are different types of engineers. I know I totally would probably not know any of the types other than maybe what you do. Can you give me an idea of some of the different types of engineers?
Sure. Well, I'm specifically civil, so even in the civil field, there's many different types of disciplines. So you could do structural design, you could do geotechnical, you could do stormwater, you could do wastewater, utility design, and that's just within civil. And then there's lots of other types of engineering as well. So for me, with that internship, and then I ended up working at that same company for about 15 years afterwards, it was land development. So I really enjoyed that because it made me a well-rounded engineer, because if you think about it, you take a blank canvas, say a farm field, and you're now building infrastructure on it. So you have all those different types of disciplines that I mentioned that you have to design and work out. Plus, like, you're coordinating with the architect on the building footprint. You're coordinating with all your plumbing, mechanical, and electrical engineers to make all your tie-ins on your site. So yeah, I really enjoyed doing the land development side.
And you know what, you're describing all this and I'm thinking, wow, you know, I didn't really think about all that goes into that when we see things, and even stormwater where you work in, correct? Or help with that?
Yeah.
What do you do in regard to the stormwater? You were
Right.
mentioning design. How does that design even factor into something like that?
So for the past 2 years, I was helping, I was a project manager in the stormwater engineering section in Public Works. So yeah, we helped identify where there were deficiencies in the existing drainage system, and then we came up with proposed improvements through different watershed studies. And then once we identify the improvement, then we actually turn it into a project once we get funding. And so we're able to put in either upsizing or sometimes bigger maintenance projects to help the drainage move through faster and reduce flooding.
So I was going to ask you, what is a day in the life of a woman engineer? And I think you sort of just described it. So you stay pretty busy looking at different designs throughout the city?
Yep, and so I was recently promoted to the assistant city engineer. So now I'm not only overseeing the stormwater, but I also see all of our transportation capital improvement projects. And then we also have a construction management group of inspectors that helps with through construction. So yeah, that's been a different realm, getting my feet wet with the transportation, the roadway projects.
Right.
So that can consist of, you know, a simple turn lane or intersection improvements to building a whole new road or widening roads to account for
So traffic engineering.
increase. Yeah,
I
it's
got that right.
crossing into that realm. Well, now we do have a dedicated city traffic engineer as
Okay.
well that helps with a lot of that master planning and all that. But again, once the projects are identified, then that's where it's called the Design Construction Management Group in Public Works takes those projects and actually designs it on paper, and then we go hire a contractor and build it, put it in the ground.
Wow, so there's really a lot of different avenues that you can take. So any final words to a young woman who may be interested in pursuing that path?
I'd say just, you know, do what makes you happy. You know, if you think about the lifespan of your career, it really is short. I tell my husband this all the time.
You're right.
I shouldn't say it. just do what makes you happy, and just, you know, follow your ethics and be a hard worker, and you'll get far. So.
Great advice. Well, thank you so much, Crystal, for joining me today. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, that does it for this edition of A Closer Look, and we'll be sure to see you next time.